Hello, my name is Ashley Allen, and for my final presentation, I'll be comparing the two Eastern religions of Sikhism and Buddhism. The first religion I'll be explaining is Sikhism, and the picture to the left is a picture of a Sikh temple. The middle photo is a man wearing a traditional turban, and then the photo to the right is a picture of a symbolic dagger known as a kirpan, and I'll be talking about all of these things throughout the presentation. So the origins of Sikhism. Sikhism was established by Guru Nanak in 1469 and was founded in the late 15th century in the Punjab region of India. The Punjab region includes parts of modern India and Pakistan. While a majority of Sikhs still live in this region, Sikhism has since spread all over the globe and has nearly 25 million followers worldwide. The beliefs of Sikhism. Sikhs are monotheistic. They believe in one single God who is the creator of all things. Sikhs believe in the cycle of life and death known as reincarnation. The way to break this cycle is to achieve enlightenment, which is attained through following the Guru's teaching, meditating on God, and serving others through good deeds and charity. Sikhs believe in 5 cardinal vices, and these are lust, anger, greed, attachment, and pride. By overcoming these vices, Sikhs believe you can achieve enlightenment, and Sikhs believe rituals and superstitions are pointless, and they reject any kind of idol worship. The Sikhs have one holy text known as the Adi Granth. It contains nearly 6,000 hymns of the Sikh gurus and early saints. The Adi Granth condemns the traditional caste system of India, as Sikhs believe that all humans are equal in the eyes of God, and this includes women. Sikhs believe that there are no distinctions between gender or sex in the eyes of God either, so women are seen to be as equal or equal with men. So the Adi Granth is often referred to as a guru and actually has the same reverence as a living guru. It is opened every morning and wrapped up and put away at night. The first version of this book was composed by the 5th guru, Arjun. Sikhs only acknowledge one supreme God. However, there is a category of Sikhs known as Khalsa, which means pure. Khalsa are Sikhs that have been ceremonially baptized by the 10th Guru, which is Gobind Singh. All Sikhs eventually become Khalsa at some point in their lifetime, and it is seen as a personal spiritual evolution. The baptismal ceremony involves drinking sugar water stirred with a kirpan, which is a symbolic dagger, with 5 other Sikhs and the Holy Scripture present. After this takes place, they are instructed to never cut their hair, use substances, commit adultery, drink alcohol, eat meat from a Muslim ritual, and they must always wear the physical articles of faith that I will talk about later in the presentation. So Sikhs worship in a temple called a Gurdwara. Worship mostly consists of singing hymns from the scripture and a set of prayers. At the beginning of the worship service, there is a declaration of the virtues of all the gurus, and at the end of the service, there is a salutation to God. These are both key portions of any Sikh worship service and are not changed. Everyone in the temple must sit in a straight line, as to not acknowledge any superiority or inferiority as stated in the Adi Granth. So because Sikhs don't believe in the traditional caste system, this also plays into why they sit in straight lines in worship. The Adi Granth also must be present during the entire worship service. Sikhs have a set of unique physical articles of faith that they carry on their bodies at all times. Kesh refers to hair that is left uncut, which symbolizes spirituality and dedication. The dastar is a turban, which symbolizes dignity and high self-esteem. Traditionally, many years ago, it would also signify royalty, but in modern days, it more often symbolizes high self-esteem. Turbans are required for men but are optional for Sikh women. The kanka is a comb that symbolizes hygiene and discipline. The kara is a steel bracelet that symbolizes physical restraint and remembrance of God at all times. The kirpan, as we saw in the photo earlier, is a ceremonial sword or dagger that symbolizes the Sikh duty to end justice. Sikhs have a strong belief in service, charity, and good deeds. In more Western culture, more specifically America, when a Sikh individual carries a kirpan on their body, it is purely for religious purposes but can often be misunderstood in Western culture. And there have been many instances where an individual who is Sikh was believed to have ulterior motives for possessing this dagger on their body, but there are actually not laws prohibiting them from carrying it since it is purely a religious symbol. The next, the next religion I'll be presenting about is Buddhism. The picture to the left is a Buddhist temple. The photo in the middle is a statue of the Buddha, and the photo on the right is a Buddhist monk. So Buddhism began in northeastern India between the late 6th century and the early 4th century BCE. It was founded on the teachings of the Buddha known as Siddhartha Gautama. Buddhists do not acknowledge a supreme god or deity. The main goal is to achieve enlightenment, which is an elevated inner state of harmony, peace, and wisdom. Enlightenment is achieved through morality, meditation, and understanding the truth. The Four Noble Truths address the reality of suffering in the world. The first noble truth is essentially a contingency plan for both physical and mental suffering. The second noble truth seeks out the root of suffering. Buddhists believe that desire and ignorance are ultimately the root of all suffering in the world. This can include pleasure, comfort, and material possessions because these are things that will never fully satisfy a person, even if they gain more of it. Buddhists believe that the second root, ignorance, is composed of greed, envy, hatred, and anger. These things prevent a person from truly understanding the world for what it is. The third noble truth states that there is an end to suffering. This end is believed to be attainable by achieving enlightenment, also known as nirvana. Enlightenment is believed to be the key to breaking the cycle of life and death through reincarnation, thus ending the continuous suffering on earth. The fourth noble truth instructs a person on how to attain this state of enlightenment, which is the goal of all Buddhists. The way to enlightenment, as instructed in this fourth noble truth, is the Eightfold Path. This includes right understanding, thought, speech, action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, and concentration. Another aspect of life that affects a person's achievement of enlightenment is the idea of karma. Karma refers to the weight of positive and negative actions a person commits during their lifetime. These actions will impact and determine their next life after rebirth. The Buddha's teaching was oral and specifically to whoever was being addressed at that time. It was passed down through reciting to other people as it still is today. The teaching was eventually written down as texts known as the Pali Canon, Sanskrit Canon, and later on the Mahayana texts. The word Buddha comes from the Pali word Bud, which means wake up, perceive, or become aware. The Buddha is someone who has achieved enlightenment and includes Sama Sambuddhas and Universal Buddhas. It does not, however, include Arahats, which achieve enlightenment but are not considered to be Buddhas, but spiritual teachers. Like I mentioned before, Buddhists do not worship a god or a deity. Buddhists worship those before them who have attained enlightenment, known as the Buddhas. The Buddhas are not gods, however, they are humans who have attained a higher state of enlightenment. In some places, these Buddhas, these people who have attained enlightenment, are often worshipped as they were gods, but they are not considered gods. Buddhists believe that attachment is one of the roots of suffering, so many Buddhists choose to cut ties with material goods and desires. Many Buddhists are vegetarian as well due to the vow to never take a life. However, this is not strictly enforced in all places and is actually more common in the West than it is in the East. Meditation is also a regular and consistent part of a Buddhist's daily life. So some of the key differences that are found between Sikhism and Buddhism is Sikhs believe that there is only one supreme God and that God created earth and people. Buddhists believe that there is no supreme God or deity. Rather, their main focus is achieving enlightenment. Sikhism believes in physical articles of faith that are required and almost always carried on the person at all times. This is different in Buddhism because Buddhism believes in the detachment of material possessions and desires. Sikhism also believes in uncut hair, and many Buddhists, especially Buddhist monks, are required to shave their head if they are male. Some key similarities that are found between Sikhism and Buddhism. The first one is reincarnation, which is the cycle of life and death. Excuse me. Both religions believe that the cycle of life and death is never ending, and that the only way to break this cycle is to achieve enlightenment. How a person achieves enlightenment might vary between Sikhism and Buddhism, but the fact that enlightenment is the end goal is something that is shared between both religions. And something that is similar between both religions is also to live a moral life. the reasoning behind living a moral life, or what that moral life might look like, can differ between the religions, but the goal to live a moral life remains the same between the two. And these were my references. They include about 4 websites, and at the end I have the class textbook